Overshare Pamphlet. My name is Rob, and I'm the host of this one-man show. Welcome back. I am recording from Italy today. Italy. There will be an interesting surprise because, if you followed my previous episode, which was not last week's because I did not put out an episode, but 2 weeks ago, basically, I did say that I was going on a holiday trip, sort of. I'm currently back home, and I am going to the beach every single day, basically. That's the trip involved. I'm going to different beaches with my parents, with my friends. So that's the vibe. I did not put out an episode last week because I landed literally the day before when I usually record an episode. Well, I landed on the Saturday, and to be quite frank, I was tired. I literally did not sleep for the flight because it was super early, and then I was all the way at the beach on the Sunday, so I did not have time to prepare an episode, think about it. It was all over the place. And also I did want a proper break, at least for a week, because I'm actually on holiday. I want to relax a bit. So yeah, but now I'm back, and I'm recording from Italy, from my, hometown, which is so interesting. I don't think I ever did an episode outside of the UK, basically, but here it is. So today we'll be talking about a couple of different topics. The first one being the Olympics, and most importantly, the Olympic, parade, the intro, and the good, the bad, the ugly, the interesting parts, the performances by Lady Gaga and Celine Dion, what the fuck, and yeah, just a bit of everything, basically. Very controversial topic, apparently. Some people hated it, some people loved it. I don't know. I have my take on it. I'll explain it when I get to it, but yeah. And then, I guess, I don't know if there's two separate topics or just a very interconnected discussion, but I want to talk about a bit about BRAT SUMMER and Kamala Harris running for president and endorsing basically BRAT as a marketing tool for her presidential campaign, basically, and her marketing in general. So yeah, they're sort of the same. Well, they're interrelated topics, just one big chunk, basically, altogether. But I'll get to it. But first, of course, as you all know, songs of the week. Since it's been a couple of weeks, I have a lot. But this will close the month, because I think it's coming out tomorrow. So tomorrow is still technically July. So will be the last episode of July, basically. So it's late. You can catch these songs. You can find them in my monthly playlist that I make on Spotify. It's called literally the Overshare Pamphlet, Songs of the Week, and then I make a playlist for each month where I collect every song of the week for that month. But yeah, so first of all, I want to actually discuss the new Clairo album, Charm. I personally might be a bit of, it's not me wanting to be different or whatever it is, but this is probably my favorite album of the summer. I'm not joking. I literally, first listen, I saved basically all the songs because they're all so good, so consistent, such a great addition to this summer. Very intriguing vibe, and just the summer is for the lesbians and the girlies, basically. We have Chapel Rowan, we have Sabrina, we have Brat with Charlie XCX. So literally, couldn't ask for anything better. But this album is special to me. It's the less commercial you go, I think the more intriguing it is, in a way. Brat and BRAT SUMMER has become a thing that is even bigger in itself. It's a full phenomenon, but there's an underdog and a low-key understated album that I don't know how commercially successful it has been as of now, or how popular it's been, but I think it's one of the best albums of the year, first of all, but also of the season. It's a very summery, chill album. It has a lot of influence from like the 90s and the, I don't know, I feel like a lot of these songs are like very jazzy as well. Sometimes they get into a bit of R&B. They remind me a lot of also the Beatles, I guess. Sometimes it's just a lot of that sort of sound, I guess, which I really liked. And out of this album, as I said, like I liked all the songs actually. Like on my first listen, I'm not kidding, I liked all of them. Of course, we already heard "Sexy as Someone," so, and that was a great single. But I was so surprised to see that there's also a couple of other, there are also a couple of other numbers here that are like upbeat and a bit more intriguing in a way. First one being my personal favorite of the album as of now, "Out of My Love." So freaking good, like super nice. It reminds me a bit of ABBA, like which specific song am I thinking of? It's not Mamma Mia. Is it Mamma Mia? Dancing Queen, actually. Yeah, Dancing Queen. It reminds me so much of that, especially the piano. That reminds me so much of Dancing Queen, but period. And I loved Juna. Juna is a bit of a more R&B, in my opinion, take on the Clairo sound. Super chill, super vibey in a way. And then Glory of the Snow, very much in the same vein as Out of My Love, but more subdued and more slow, I guess. So I think, should I add all three of them? I'm not really sure. I'll definitely put Out of My Love. Out of My Love, let me put it, where is it? Oh, Swings of Week, July, yep. And let me also do Glory of the Snow. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna put Juna as well because it's my playlist. So y'all gotta have to put up with it. But yes, Clairo, she, I don't know, was so focused with this one. Seems like a very well crafted third album. Really loved it. I think it really fits also her tone, her vocal tone. It's very vintage in a way, the way it sounds. But I don't know. I just find it very refreshing for this season, and I like the diversity, as I said even before, with the girlies, like Charlie XCX giving us basically hyperpop and like club anthems in a way, and then we've had Chapo Rowan giving us a bit of a traditional, more pop sound in a way, and then we're same thing with Sabrina giving us sort of a very summery production, a bit 80s influence, I guess. And we still don't know what it's gonna, like the album, what it's gonna be like, because it's coming out in August. So very much looking forward to that. She's gonna probably close basically the season, which is interesting. Also, by the way, I forgot to mention that I managed to get tickets. Well, not I did not personally do it. I tried, but I failed miserably both times. But my friend Pam, she managed to get tickets for both of us, which is incredible. Actually, she managed to get 3 tickets. One she's reselling because she didn't know she could get to pit tickets. But yeah, we're going in March, March the 9th, I believe. One of the 2 dates, basically. I can't remember. But next year we'll be seeing Sabrina live. Incredible. Now we're still on the prowl for Chapo, who's coming in here. I think he's coming to London in September. Could it be? Yeah, we're looking for those in resale because we did not get the tickets first round. So yeah, I'm excited. But yeah, these are the 3 songs for now. Then I'm gonna talk about Anna Wintour by Azealia Banks. That is a incredible house production of run. I'm sure it's an old track by Azealia Banks. Not gonna lie, I'm not really versed in her music. I know, of course, the major hits, but this song came up to me on TikTok when I saw Katya and Trixie talking about. I think they were talking about their favorite songs or something. But Katya said this song is one of her favorites because like you have to let it cook, you have to let it like simmer, and then it builds up so well, and it gets into this like full house club moment, and it is so good. One thing about Zila Banks, you cannot deny it. Even though she's a crazy ass person, like insane fucking person, she even went to a Trump rally, I guess. She went to one of the speeches and all of that, and she also posted something about Kamala and her brat marketing strategy, and degrading and criticizing her as usual, but don't care about that. I just find it very entertaining for that reason, I guess, to be fair. Like, she's very funny, like maybe unintentionally funny because she's crazy, but insane. But music wise, she's so fucking talented, and it would be a blessing to receive another album from her, but I'm sure no one wants to work with her because she's fucking insane. Like, very problematic person, but yeah, the song though slaps. If you put that aside, the song is insane. So good. So she is in the playlist. She's gonna be in the playlist. I don't care. Then I want to put this track by Sumin and Sloan. This is their second collaboration for miniseries to an EP. She is a Korean singer, and she made this full EP full of incredible tracks. I plead you to go and like take a listen to the full EP, but I'm gonna put TikTok from Sumin. Again, it's very R&B adjacent, but like K-pop R&B, and this one is more like on the pop side, I guess, more like on the upbeat version of that. But there's plenty of tracks also in the EP that are more like R&B, K-pop style, like yeah, classic R&B as well. To be fair, Korean R&B is very specific of a genre, I think, but yeah, incredible project. I'm very, very, very happy with it. So yeah, she's gonna be in the playlist. And then I do want to finish this with Nano. It's literally Naneo by Binny, but Binny spelled as B exclamation mark and I. Another R&B track, but this is like very groovy in a way. It's like a very groovy track, danceable for sure. I've been falling in love with this artist as well. This Korean artist. She's so freaking talented. She has so few listeners. Like, literally, I'm talking about 9,000 monthly listeners, and this song specifically has 38 in total, 38,000 listens. So, but many songs of hers are so good. Like, I hope she gets a breakout hit. But to be fair, most of her songs are so good. So, I hope some of them get discovered by other people as well and becomes like a big thing. But incredible stuff. Loved it. Ate it down, chew it, spit it. What am I saying? But either way, we're on it. So yeah, I think we can comfortably close the month with these editions. As I said, you can find the playlist on Spotify. You can just search the Overshare pamphlet songs of the week, and then you'll see the different months, the different playlists I made for each month. And yeah, literally I make the last decision literally while I'm recording, so you'll see them roughly every Saturday or Sunday when I make the episodes. You'll see in a preview what I want to put in the next episode that's coming out. So I just put them right now in the playlist, and that's pretty much gonna be it for the episode in terms of songs. So yeah. But next month you can look looking forward to another playlist I'll be making. But yeah, so just keep an eye on that if you're interested in the song sections, of course. But yeah, let's get into the real vibe, which is the first one, to be fair, is the Olympics. I want to talk a bit about the ceremony, the opening ceremony, and the general chatter, I guess, surrounding the Olympics. This 2024, I guess, rendition of the Olympics has been held. Well, is currently still going on until I think the 11th of August, and it's being held at it's been held in France, in Paris, I think. Yeah, so it's in Paris, and I think there's also an island that they use for um, like surfing and some extreme sports that require like actual waves, because France does not have that, to be fair. And the weather is shit if you've been seeing the videos and everything, but it's mostly set in Paris, basically, France. So one could, could only, I guess, look forward to the opening ceremony, celebrating, the country as well, the history of the country. I think usually when each country hosts, when they do the opening ceremony, they usually take the chance to like celebrate their own history and culture. So France, there's so much to pull from in a way, and you know, I would say I personally think the ceremony was quite, of course, unusual, like unexpected. And I think some of the parts are actually um, very well executed, like contrasted with the, you know, some of the poor decisions I think of like keeping it on the river. So basically, the main river runs through Paris. They held it there, and they used giant boats to bring in the different countries, basically. And most of the ceremony was happening on the two sides of the river, basically. So they put performances on both sides. They had incredible choreographies and like different art pieces as well, and it was very creative, I think, in that sense. But I think the problem is that the ceremony was so long that at a certain point it was so dispersive, because you keep on like following the river and everything else, but it didn't feel like people were going somewhere in a way. I mean, at the end they did basically round up just in front of the Eiffel Tower, but you did not feel the unity between the nations or whatever, like all of them staying in one single place or whatever it is. Because at the end of the day, these boats were carrying these people, and then they left them whatever. Like you did not see them, the full teams, in an arena or whatever it is all together. Like at the end, you just saw people bringing the flags in, but they were not actually people from the countries. They were just random people, because we were taking too much time to like let them get out of the boat and reach the final spot and all that stuff. So yeah, that's my, I think, major critique in that sense. But I did like the idea of the boats in a way, because it's quite interesting and different, I guess. You don't put emphasis on like who carries the flag though, because that's what usually happens in all the ceremonies. Like each country chooses like a specific athlete, which they did in this case. But since you see the boats with all the athletes from each country, you don't really focus too much on who's bringing the flag, but it's just in general the country. Interesting choice, I would say. But what I did find creative is using the entire city as a backdrop for the performances, the opening acts, and all that stuff. It was actually quite interesting to see like the very important pieces of architecture used in very artistic ways, like decorated in different ways as well. Very vibrant, very very, in that sense, I think very creative and unusual, for sure. I think critics didn't really like it, and there's a specific section that they hated. But first of all, kudos to them to like sticking it out, even though like it was literally fucking raining so much, and it was not an easy thing to carry out, I think. But it was fun. I literally watched all of it. I don't know. I'm not really sure why, but I was very intrigued this year to like watch the Olympics, because I think culturally there's always something going on, and Lord and behold, some of the chats that came out of the Olympics are like something that I didn't expect. Like talking about the Olympic Village and Grinder not being used there, like the location being turned off there. You can now use Grinder in the Olympic Village, or the beds being built out of cardboard and allegedly being anti-sex, even though they're basically made out of cardboard for environmental reasons. And I think they're actually quite durable from some people's stories. I don't know exactly how they tested it, but yes. But it's just been funny, like, and I think I've seen a lot of people using TikTok. I was very intrigued by that, actually. There are the athletes actually using TikTok to, recount their journey and like everything else. And I've seen a lot of the younger people as well, specifically younger athletes talking about, getting to France and seeing, hot people, other hot athletes. It's like the tone for this Olympic is like very relatable and very Gen Z, I guess. So very interesting stuff. But um, apart from that, I was saying basically that the critics really did not enjoy some parts of the exhibition. I think it was divided in 12 chapters. They were all sort of influenced by the French Revolution, triple, motto in that sense, égalité, fraternité, and all that stuff. Um, but they decided to like do 12 chapters and have each chapter represented by different like, section, like, different artistic component. And there was one of the last ones, I think it was towards the ninth, I think, the ninth chapter. Basically, they recreated the Last Supper, the painting itself, but it was made live with people on a bridge, and it was made up. The people were basically, well, one of them was Jesus was portrayed by DJ, a woman playing Europop music, and the table, instead of being a table, was a huge runway, and all the people part of the Last Supper were actually very queer LGBTQ representatives, I guess, like very queer people, like, you had transsexual people, you had very queer looking people as well, like in terms of clothing, and very daring and camp moments in that sense, which was on my view very interesting. I liked it a lot. Very interesting take, very intriguing. Some people said like it was an offense towards the Christian community, and I don't fucking care about that. They just grew up. It's 2024. We are in a world of like, freedom of expression, and it would be boring to see always the same freaking thing. I think it's actually a very interesting take on it, and I don't think it should be seen as an insult to that. It was actually, a celebratory moment in a way. Yes, it was taking inspiration from a Christian famous painting, but it was celebrating basically Europe, first of all, which I found very interesting. Like Europop, European culture in a way, was very European heavy in terms of songs and, house music. Europop was very much the center of this portion of the chapter. And then they also had very, it was very much a celebration of the queer community and fashion and, basically diversity in a way. And that's pretty much all you could ask for. And I liked it. It was different, very daring in a way. I also really liked the choreography that was happening on the river. They had like a boat with dancers on it as well while this was happening on the bridge. It was very cool. The only critique I have for that portion was that it was a bit too long, I think. Like it lasted for too long. But it was very, very cool. Very, very intriguing. And I liked it. I liked the costumes. They were very interesting as well. I liked also the other like historical references as well in the other chapters, like Marie Antoinette, the fire in the castles and everything else, like the hard rock band. Um, Lady Gaga's performance was also top notch. She was very much into that French style, even though I don't fucking get it. Why did they get Lady Gaga instead of like a local singer or someone who was actually French? I'm not really sure if what's his name, Stromae. I'm not sure if he's actually 100% French, but I would have preferred him over any like even Celine Dion. To be fair, she was incredible. Don't get me wrong. She closed the opening ceremony, and she had a great voice. She sang very well, very emotional. But how are they even related to France? That's what I'm saying. I would have preferred someone who's much more local and like still pretty much famous. Like Stromae would have been such a good chance, and it would have fit so well with the Europop celebration they were going for. So I'm not really sure why they didn't go for that, but I would have done that personally. But anyways, also would have loved to like see a bit of more of a celebration of like French art and like artistic movements, because France is also very like, especially during like impressionism and all those different like currents as well. France was a shit. Paris was a shit, basically. Like, it was full of circles of very important artists, and I would have loved to see that, basically. I'm not really sure why they did not do that, but I am appalled to say the least. So yeah, I'm not really sure why they didn't do it personally. I'm very I would prefer to see like a lot of that as well. I liked the goddess of the river, like, you know, bringing basically the torch to the end of the at the end of the ceremony, basically, like going through a river on this like mechanical horse. Very cool visuals, very cool, interesting visuals as well. But yeah, I do think that they was a bit too long of a ceremony, to be fair. I'm not really sure why they held out so long for that, but that's the only thing that I really would criticize in a way, like the length of the and just also the dispersion of the crowds in a way. Like it didn't really work that well in that sense, but I do appreciate the risks taken in that sense and the diversity used in the opening ceremony. Like something very interesting, something not usual. So yeah, like to all the critics, you know, like I don't know, eat a plate of escargots and go on with your day. You know, just eat slugs and just leave us alone. You know, period. I liked it. Anyways, those are my rough 2 cents on the Olympics. What am I looking forward to the most in terms of sports? I don't know. I just don't. I just like watching. To be fair, I do have some sports that I like to watch during the Olympics. One of them being fencing. I love watching that. I do love acrobatics as well. I do love watching like swimming competitions as well. So that would be something that I would look out for. Volleyball, I do like watching that as well. So a bit of that, a bit of that. Basketball, I usually love watching it as well, but I don't know why I never watch it during the Olympics because I think the NBA is much bigger than that in a way, which makes no sense. But yeah, I kind of like go with whatever is on the TV and just go for it basically and take a bit of a dip in that. So yeah. But I do look forward to see what they do for the closing ceremony. I hope it's not going to be that long as well, but yeah, just going to be peeled to my screen. It's going to be, still there until the 11th. So we have a lot of time. A lot of time. So yeah. Now, to move on to the next topic, I want to talk about BRAT Summer and sort of the Kamala Harris advancement in that sense of like the replacement to Joe Biden basically. So BRAT Summer, if you have been sleeping on the rock, if you don't know what's going on, BRAT Summer is basically the term used to celebrate first of all, the huge success of Charlie XCX's newest album, Brat, but also I think it's like this cultural zeitgeist phenomenon that is currently, keeping our culture in a chokehold in a way. Like the summer has been, all about that specific green cover of Brat. That color has been repurposed so many times in different ways with different memes, different fonts, everything. Whatever you go online, I think you will see something referencing Brat, and that's a huge cultural statement. Like it's so big. We haven't had such a huge pop cultural moment in ages. I think like to that extent, it's just all encompassing and such a massive movement in a way. And yeah, so basically BRAT Summer's entire movement in itself is just the addition of all these things, like the album and the the people celebrating it and the different takes. It's been like the different nature of this album that's been taken. It's been taken to different places, different art areas, in very unusual places. Everyone has been using Brat as a marketing tool to promote their own products or whatever. Like I'm talking about any sort of viable commercial product. I'm talking about banks. I'm talking about burgers as well. I'm talking about Kamala Harris. I've been seeing a lot of people on TikTok also using it for their own, in a way, marketing strategy. Very interesting. So interesting for the culture. I think it's one of the most important pop culture moments of the decade, to be fair. Like, it's taken the internet by a storm. And I said, like, it's coming in at the same time as, this advent of, like, so many different girls doing pop music this summer, and, like, such a variety of, like, sounds. It's just a great celebration of that as well, in my opinion, like, of a very female-oriented music scene this moment in time. So yeah, it's had like Sabrina, Chapel, Charlie, Taylor Swift still dominating in a way, like, throughout this entire year and the previous one. Like, it's flourishing basically, and it's so good to see, like, variety as well. I personally really love where music is going in that sense. I was actually begging for this, because I loved seeing my girl Taylor on top, of course, but I was begging for some diversity on the charts, which in turn is gonna make basically Taylor pivot even more. Like, my girl thrives even more when there's competition, That's what I love the most about her. And the more she's challenged in that sense, the more she makes creative, interesting choices. So yeah, I was waiting for pop music to branch out a bit more again. And here it is, finally happening. So unfolding before our very own eyes, man. So I am very intrigued by BRAT SUMMER in that sense. I have seen, plenty of people making references to the album, me myself included. If you follow me on Instagram, robscowl.jpg, go follow me on Instagram right now. I do make references to Brat all the fucking time. So many of my friends make reference to Brat all the fucking time. So it's safe to say that it's been a moment that has been taken, very far in that sense, and in a very beautiful way, in a sense. Like, everyone is doing it and repurposing it in different ways. So yeah, I'm very glad for Charlie to also, like, be celebrated this much, and it is an incredible moment. Like, the importance of this movement has become so, like, big and all-encompassing that it has even reached politics, and specifically Kamala Harris. So BRAT SUMMER, while all this was happening, Joe Biden decided to drop out of the presidential run in that sense, and the named substitute by Joe Biden was Kamala Harris. So now Kamala is the front runner. She hasn't been selected specifically yet as the official Democratic front runner, but she's pretty much the choice. It's going to be, I believe they're not going to, stop her from being the actual main one, because she is currently the most popular and the most endorsed person. Like, she's been endorsed also by the Obamas, and she's received so many, like, record-breaking donations for her for a campaign. So she's gonna be the next one, like, in terms of the next runner-up from the Democrats, So yeah, so as soon as she stepped in and she started, and like rolling out basically her campaign, she decided to pivot and go for a very interesting route that I don't think any politician would have taken. And I'm very surprised and very pleasantly surprised and very intrigued to see how this is going to unfold, if it's going to be effective or not. I think he's actually working on that demographic. And I'm talking, of course, about, endorsing basically Brat and BRAT SUMMER as a marketing tool for politics and, the elections. So she's actually taken remixes being made about her, and, her famous coconut tree speech is being interpolated and, used for remixes of any sort of song, to be fair, but mostly also, Brat tracks in that sense. And so she has endorsed that. Her headquarters, her marketing team has put that as her banner as well. It's just very funny. And Kamala's opened her own TikTok now, and she's been putting some TikToks, and her headquarters also have, her marketing team also has a TikTok account. So she's very much leaning into that aspect and trying to pander towards the younger generations, which is, I think, very intriguing, very smart. And she chose the right tool to, I don't think it would have worked as well if it wasn't for the BRAT SUMMER phenomenon in a way, because that is one of the most all-encompassing. As I said, like the problem we're facing as a culture right now is that we do not have a monoculture anymore. Like the internet is so diverse and so vast now and all-encompassing and all-reaching that it's full of niches, but there's hardly ever a single element that touches up on, like it basically involves everyone in the culture, right? Like a single cultural phenomenon that encompasses all of us, like because the internet is so fractured and so diverse and ever-changing that it's difficult to capture everyone's attention with the same single thing. But Brad sort of is doing that at the moment, which is very unusual for our times. And as I said, it came in clutch for Kamala because she's using that all-encompassing moment and, you know, big phenomenon to, you know, bolster her own popularity and gather, well, mostly getting votes from younger people, which I hope that is going to happen, because I hope people are going to realize that, young people specifically are going to realize that you need to vote and go and vote to change the, you know, the final verdict, I guess, of the elections. So I hope young people go and vote for her. I think she's leading with a whopping 60% between young people in terms of, you know, choice for president, but she has to work a lot on young, like older generation as well. I'm glad that the Obamas endorsed her, so she has a bit of like a professional endorsement as well, which is very good. But yeah, she has an uphill battle, I guess, to fight in this sense, because also she is a woman, let's not forget that, and a woman of color nonetheless, and she's basically facing off a complete opposite, which is Trump, of course. And you know, it's not an easy task for a woman of color specifically, to be in this space. It's very difficult actually. So I pray that she, you know, succeeds. I'm really like, you know, I'm ruling out that she's not gonna be successful. I'm choosing to believe that she's gonna make it. I really hope so. I mean, as I said, like it's a uphill battle, so she has a lot to work on, but I can see the vision. I can see where she's going with this. It's very interesting, very unusual for politics to like be so into the TikTok of it all and like the pop culture of it all. Like they try to be their own lane in a way and like to be professional, quote unquote. But this is, I think, the right move to like be different and, you know, basically challenge a very archaic form of politics in a way. So I'm intrigued. I'm very much seated to see what's going to happen with this. I am supporting her. If I was American, I would have. If I were American, I would have voted for her. So, please, if you're listening to me from the U.S., go and vote for your girl Kamala. I don't care. Do something different for once. Like just, you know, create the change you want to see. Basically, you know. So yeah, I think basically she has been quite smart with this. Like, we still don't know if it's gonna pay off or not, but I commend her for taking this risk and going for it, you know? At this point, she's the only choice that we have. So please look a bit into her, like, you know, her politics and like, you know, her resume and the fact that she's an ex-prosecutor facing off a guy with different felonies. He's a felon, basically. So the choice should be obvious in that time. The choice should be obvious. So yeah, and also RIP to Joe Biden is Jover, truly Jover. I'm so sorry, but there's no way that guy was gonna make it. I'm sorry about that. I think he made the right choice to like step out of it. I think he should have run from the beginning. So I don't know. I think this is the right moment, I guess, to switch gears in a way. So I hope it's not too late to capture you know, the attention of other voters. But let's see. She has to go for the bigger states and get the bigger, you know, the bigger states in that sense, like the majority there. She has to, like, you know, flip those states to get a bit of, you know, a bit of a better chance of, you know, getting actually elected. So she has a lot of work to do, but I'm sure people will, you know, I would love actually to see Taylor Swift endorse her, to be fair. I think she would really put the nail in the coffin and, you know, make a substantial, like an incredible amount of young people. Like she has, Taylor is so influential, she will literally make a huge impact. I'm not sure why she hasn't done that yet. I'm sure she will start talking a bit more when the actual, you know, polls open in that sense. So I think she's probably waiting for the verdict on who's going to actually be representing the Democrat Party to say something about it. She definitely did endorse Clinton back in the day, so I don't see her not doing that for Kamala. It really depends, I guess, because Taylor right now is trying to keep herself out of any sort of political stance. She's trying to be as marketable as possible, but I think in these cases she would probably say something. I hope so, at least, because her, like even her tweet or whatever it is, like if she wants to post something on Instagram, that would literally turn the tides, at least for young people, for sure. So, yeah. Here's hoping that, other celebrities endorse Kamala and, we need unity in this sense. And we need unity also from not only women, but also other men trying to endorse her. Like, Barack Obama was an incredible, moment for that as well. And, using the memes to bolster your own, campaign is actually very smart. But we need actual, substantial support from other big names. That's what I think. So, but I'm sure she'll get there. I'm sure she will get all the support she needs, and I think this is an interesting route to take for the campaign, and I'm sure it would at least reap some benefits when it comes to younger voters. As I said, my only question is older voters and all those who are still on the fence. What I find actually very interesting is the fact that after this announcement, I don't want to say everyone seems to have forgotten about the shooting accident with Trump, but it seems like we've moved on from that, thankfully, and moved on to better things and, focusing on a different moment, which is Kamala and her, energetic campaign, right? So you can see at least that she has some power to, change the subject in the culture and, in the politics and everything else. So I'm hopeful for that reason as well. It seems like she is able to, go toe-to-toe with Trump and hopefully even bring him out. I'm looking forward to the next debate, so I want to see what's going to happen there. Very intrigued by that, so I'll keep an eye on that as well. But apart from that, that's pretty much it for this episode, I think. I'm sweating. It's so warm here. It's so hot. It's 35 at this moment, so I might go to the beach. I might take a little tip personally. I might go and freshen up. But yeah, big slay, and hope you guys enjoy your last week of July, basically. And yeah, I'll see you next episode, which is next week, basically. So yeah, toodles.